Hello and welcome back to Lorehammer. I'm your host Mark. On this exciting episode, we were all able to keep our heads with the last two, and here we are in this one. So joining me today, we got Court.
Hey, good to be here. Yes, back on actual Lorehammer, not just like fun
Yes.
RPG specials. So we're back.
Yeah.
I'm back. This is good.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
I enjoyed
definitely
your
has been a
RPG
minute.
specials.
Yeah, but it's just weird. It's weird to be on like a normal episode now.
Well, I'll put you to work and get your reading right away. Get your accents ready. Your best bionic voices, sterile, mechanical. I like it. We also got Gerald join us. Hey,
Hello, good evening, afternoon, morning, whenever y'all are listening to the Spotify version. So,
Yep. Whatever time, whatever year, whatever place, I suppose. Welcome to Lorehammer. We're gonna have a fun Iron Hands 30K Legion era episode. We like to break these chapter or legions into two parts, and today will be the first kind of 30K, and then the next one will be 40K. And if you're watching on the screen, we got Ferrus Manus' model up there right now, although that is third party, so it is illegal, and GW's goons will be after you, Gerald, for this.
I was wondering why Gerald started typing in the show notes, legally distinct third party fairs.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. I think the GW goons will still be coming after you for that.
It looks really good, though. You did a good job painting that.
thank you, sir. And all I can say is they can try. We're 10 Primarchs in. I still haven't had anyone knocking on my door yet, so.
There you go.
The chat's happy to have you back as, our dungeon daddy, but, just on a regular episode, so whatever.
Yeah.
Should be a fun one. Before we get into it, let's just do some quick housekeeping. Come join the Discord. It's the best spot to keep up to date with what we are doing. I have had people message me on Patreon, and then eventually I go once a month to cash a paycheck out of there. I'm like, oh shit, there's some messages. I should probably respond to these people. But man, I feel like Discord's the best place. You send me a message on Discord, I'll get back to you right away. It rings me in my pocket. I go, ooh, a friend. And yeah, Discord's awesome. I've been painting a lot, posting a lot of stuff on Discord, so that's been fun. Yeah, painting a little Tyranid. So go check out what we're all working on in there. Post what you're working on.
Yeah, I need to take more advantage of that and post in the Discord. I really enjoy the community there. It's always fun, lively, and it's just rad to see folks that I get to see in the chat, chatting it up on the Discord. So yeah, jump in.
One of the things I've always loved about the Discord is just it's pretty passive, honestly. It's exciting and stuff, but it's there's no crazy people in there. It's usually just a bunch of middle-aged dudes who want to share their Warhammer. So it's pretty just mild and just, it's fun. I like it. No one's out there trying to start anything crazy or anything. So come join the Discord and maybe you could be the crazy.
Yeah, maybe. It's very chill. I like it. Good vibes. Speaking of joining, we cordially invite you to join the Imperial Tithe and support the show. So jump on Patreon if you like what we've got going on here. If you like the show, if there's any moments that you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Cool. Oh, wow, that's hilarious. Great. Oh man, Gerald is super handsome. Fantastic.
So in this episode, if you get turned on by Gerald,
I can't escape this.
Yeah. If you get turned on by Gerald, if you laugh at a joke I make, or if you learn something from me and you laugh at something Court says, then you owe us $1.
There it is. Perfect. If you dig the show, please jump on Patreon, join the Imperial Tithe. It's only $2.50 a month for the ad-free version. So you get no ads and every single episode. Also, $5 a month gets you the video version, which will show you the man
Gerald's
himself,
blushing face.
Gerald, and his gorgeous face. So Gerald's going to tell you what you get with the $5 a month tithe.
So with $5 months, apparently I have a handsome face that you can watch on the live stream version of this. So
even the ladies agree. Listen, even the ladies agree.
So come join the Patreon to have access to this live stream, and you get access to the live chat. You can chat with us where we can highlight your comments. The Lupercal TV, Purge Seraph, Bartholomew Nocturne, all you fine lovely people. And then hey, if we have enough time or if there's enough interest, we can also have call-in guests at the end of the show. So that's always a fun time. You never know what you're going to get.
The chat in the live stuff is like my favorite thing. I enjoy. I truly love like hanging with you, Mark, Gerald. We get Logan in every now and then. I love it. My favorite thing though is still the chat. Is just like the
just
random
unhinged
comments.
guy.
Every now and then there's just like funny comment that's so spot on that just gets me, and I love it. So yes, the chat is great. All hail the chat.
Yeah. To join the Patreon, they're asking how much for feet pics. You know, we all have our price. I think you have to DM the specific host whose feet you want, and then work out that deal privately. But after you work out that deal, then you send me 10% cut. So send those messages.
Bathwater
I'm a cheap date,
well.
so
yeah. Cool. Well, today we're doing Iron Hands. Yeah, we did the Ferrus Manus episodes. They were fun. They were quick. There's some things I liked, some things I didn't, and the things that I didn't like weren't that big a deal. It was more just like he died quick, so they tried to make him a little more special. Tried to make his death mean something. But I don't feel like it really did. Other legions, they suffer from the Black Rage when their Primarchs die, but the Iron Hands, they just suffer from cold mechanical precision, I guess. So some people really like it. Like we had Fuzz on the one episode, and as a blacksmith, he really enjoyed the vibe or whatever. And I think I like the vibe of the Iron Hands a little more than Ferrus Manus himself. And they got a lot more stuff. When I was writing the episode notes for this one, there's a lot of history there that I had to really pick and choose from. Like, okay, that's pretty fucking sweet. Okay, that's pretty fucking sweet. I had 32 pages at one point for the notes. I'm like, well, that's just not acceptable. That's just we got to do some trimming here. So in this episode, we are going to be talking about their origins in the Unification War, a little bit about the Great Crusade, the Horus Heresy, of course, how they dealt with the death of Ferrus Manus, and just kind of how they really went full-on bionicle, full-on iron over flesh. And then we'll talk about the Great Scouring, the second founding, all that kind of stuff where they're purging chaos from the galaxy once more. Those are kind of the big parts of the history that we'll cover. There's a lot more, so definitely go check out like a Lexicanon page or Wikipedia or whatever you like to kind of read your stuff. But we'll go into their appearance as well: belief, gene seed, homeworld, recruitment, combat doctrine, martial traditions, organizations. Everyone knows the Iron Fathers are the only fathers for us in this episode. So Dungeon Daddy stepped down, and we just have the Iron Fathers now. And finally, the War Gear. So yeah, gonna be jam-packed. Let's get to it.
Cool. I may pass this over to somebody because I've got, speaking of mechanical devices, I've got somebody using a chain sword on a palm tree next door. So if it gets a little too noisy, I may pass it off to one of you guys, like popcorn, like when you're in classroom and you start reading and you got to just name a name. All right, but here we go. Let's get into it. So the Iron Hands are a loyalist Space Marine legion of the first founding, born from the gene seed of their martyred Primarch, Ferrus Manus, not to be confused with Ferris Bueller. Pretty close, though. Anyways.
Both have a similar fate, I think.
Absolute in their loyalty to the Emperor of Mankind, the Iron Hands pursue his vision of human dominion with the cold logic of warriors who see flesh as weakness. The organic body is fragile, prone to corruption, and inferior to metal. Thus, they seek to replace bone and sinew with bionics, following the doctrine of the cult Mechanicus to purge imperfection and enforce efficiency. Engineered as the 10th Legion to bring the Emperor's light to scattered human worlds, the Iron Hands became renowned for their precision, unyielding discipline, and remorseless application of force. They were a weapon of inevitability, breaking the resistance of any foe with surgical efficiency. Their Primarch, Ferrus Manus, a master craftsman and uncompromising commander, was enshrined as the embodiment of their doctrine, his authority absolute and unchallenged. When the Horus Heresy erupted, the Legion was too distant to influence the decisive battles immediately. Yet Ferrus Manus, enraged by the corruption of his fellow Primarchs and the failures of the traitorous legions, marshaled his most disciplined veterans and set course for the Isstvan system. Not a great place to be. At the drop site massacre on Isstvan V, the Iron Hands, alongside the Raven Guard and Salamanders, were caught in the treachery of Horus's forces. Though their resistance was lethal and precise, Ferrus Manus was struck down, his skull severed by Fulgrim's demon-infused blade, leaving the Legion bereft of its guiding hand, or guiding iron hand, if you will.
Or guiding head.
Or jeez. Yeah. I will say, like, we've covered this more in depth with the Fulgrim episode, but like, I know we're just kind of glossing over it and we'll go back into it, but like, that's a rad fucking moment and a really harsh one. You know, it's wild.
Yeah, even just like Ferrus or Fulgrim was about to kill him and then he held up himself and he's like, well, this is a lot. But then the demon took over and he still did it. Like, rowdy. Yeah,
it's wild. So the Iron Hands emerged shattered, their strength nearly annihilated and their ranks decimated. Yet the surviving warriors embraced the void left by their Primarch with unflinching resolve. From the crucible of loss was forged a legion more remorseless, more mechanized, and more single-minded in its hatred of weakness. The 10th Legion's vengeance would be cold, deliberate, and unyielding, etched across the stars by steel, fire, and the relentless logic of iron. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Now, what's interesting about this Legion so far that is almost different than all the other ones, Ferrus Manus was almost the humanity of the Legion, believe it or not. And when he died, all of them just go straight mechanical. Where, you know, when the Blood Angels, I mentioned them already, but they go angry. You know, it's a different emotion. But yeah, with Ferrus Manus, it's like he was like their grounding point to humanity. Like at the end, there's that great quote where he's like, "At the end of the wars, I'm going to remove my hands and go back to being human," or whatever that great quote was. But yeah, he's kind of like the reverse of what all the other ones are, where the Primarchs learned to be humans from, you know, their father figures or their whoever they surround themselves with on the planet.
That's kind of cool, though. I like that it's like the linchpin that like swings everything. It should be storytelling wise. Like something should happen when your Primarch dies. Like there should be huge, significant consequences, and it should show that the Primarch was really the leader. Like if everything's cool after, it's like it's like if your boss gets fired or your boss quits and everything is still kind of running the way it is, like normally, like. Were they really doing a good job? You know?
Yikes, yeah. No, exactly. So, without Ferrus Manus, they just get to it and they pick their bolters back up right away and they're ready for war. And that's all they want to do now. There's nothing left in them.
And that just adds to the lovely irony that is Warhammer sometimes. I mean, and I also uphold the joke that the Iron Hands actually become more interesting once they lose their Primarch.
Good point. And I loved your joke earlier when you said irony.
Oh God!
Got him.
Oh! Okay. If you make puns, you have to join the Patreon as well, starting now.
I'll be here all week, listeners.
There you go.
We're in for a long night. All right. So, history of the Iron Hands. Let's talk about the origins real quick. The chronicle of the 10th Legion is one of precision and endurance, an archive preserved with mechanical clarity when others have faded into corrupted silence. Forged by the Emperor of Mankind in the waning age of the Unification Wars, the Legion was constructed, armed, and calibrated for a singular function: conquest. Its formation adhered rigidly to the template of the Legiones Astartes, a design of war perfected through logic and necessity. There was no deviation, no inefficiency, only the purity of ordered destruction. I love how this paragraph just like very much summarizes like the very mechanical nature of this legion. Like, so almost like you made the notes on like this on purpose, Mark.
It's cog coded.
Wait a minute, is this a Gears of War reference? Okay. Their gene-forged ranks were drawn from across the broken carcass of old Earth. The Cavitine plate, that's what I'm going to call it. The Cavitine plate cities provided disciplined labored stock. The Solus Stellax yielded survivors of industrial brutality, and from old Albia came those whose blood had already learned the language of war. The Albion savagery and endurance became the Legion's alloyed foundation. Human ferocity refined into something harder, colder, more exact. Pride in ancestry was replaced by the pride of function. The past was smelted down into purpose. Deployed as integral component of the Emperor's closing offensives during the Unification Wars, the 10th Legion's early engagements were as clinical as they were decisive. Their first recorded honors within the Sol system came from the systematic eradication of the mutant Scythers infesting the orbital derelicts of the Mycan aggregation, followed by the total purgation of the Xenos Lysax beneath the ice caverns of Oberath. In both instances, the Legion executed the Emperor's will with algorithmic precision, each strike measured, each causality accounted for, and each objective fulfilled. I'm sorry, I can't see the word Scyther without thinking of the Pokemon.
Dude, I was going to say the same thing. That's why I fucking put the little space in there. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
I just imagine Iron Hands just like fucking just going to town on these Pokemon.
Scyther!
Allow not the Xenos to live.
Yeah. Well, they're mutants, man. So what did they do? Like they like hung out and were hanging out with some prairie mantises, or what were they up to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get this though. I read this thing online of like, when you think about it, certain Pokemon would be terrifying to encounter in real life. Scyther, for example, fucking Beedrill, like a bee about half my height.
Yeah.
With a giant stinger like this long? No, ma'am.
You don't want that. No. We have Lupercal's comment is, wait, the Albions? Are we saying the Iron Hands are essentially British descendants? Yeah, they would be for sure, kind of in that area.
Yeah, GW being a UK company, there's going to be a lot of those fun little references too.
Growing up under the Big Ben clock, it's still ticking 20,000 years later or whatever, and they're like, oh, the machine is strong. And that's where their fetish started.
Oh man. Against the Scythers let me try that again. Against the Scythers' labyrinthine fortresses and in Oberath's frozen voids, the 10th Legion demonstrated the core of its nature: discipline without hesitation, wrath without passion, destruction without waste. They advanced like machinery through environments hostile to all organic life, adapting, calculating, eradicating. Losses were minimal, victory was absolute. Yet these early triumphs were but the first calibrations of a greater mechanism, precursors to the cold, methodical warfare that would one day define the Iron Hands and the inexorable logic of their Primarch, Ferrus Manus.
Yeah, ever since day one, these guys really were like this cold precision. I I don't like sometimes we read their origins on Earth and like, okay, so that's why they are like that. Like I didn't really get anything from the Albius stuff, why they were like machine lords talking to computers and now, there wasn't anything too much like that. But either way, from their origins, yeah, they definitely were that war machine. And they didn't have to go too long into the Great Crusade before Ferrus Manus does find them. They were like the third or fourth legion to get their Primarch. And that's when the Hour of the Gorgon happens. The 10th Legion was no army. It was a mechanism of eradication. Forged by Ferrus Manus, it functioned without mercy, its purpose stripped of sentiment or glory. The Iron Hands waged war as a process, to destroy, to refine, to persist. Under the Gorgon's will, inefficiency became sin and emotion defect. Each action was calculated, each strike was an equation in death. They became metal, given thought, precise, pitiless, inevitable. Ferrus Manus was their pattern and perfection. His wrath was molten and measured, his standards absolute. To fail was corruption, to feel was decay. He forged his sons in the crucible of his creed, strength through the death of weakness. The Iron Hands accepted this truth as law. Among them, fatality was exercised, humanity purged. They became purifiers of imperfection, their faith as cold as iron. They waged war, the Great Crusade, as an instrument, not a brotherhood. Where others conquered, they eliminated. The Emperor's foes were not defeated, but erased. To the Mechanicum, they were kin. To mortals, they were executioners. Flesh bent to function, steel endured. In every campaign, the Legion refined itself closer to the ideal machine, without flaw, purpose, without end. I'm just going to pause right there. We almost need to pull up that quote from Ferrus Manus again. I don't know if either, Gerald, maybe you might be familiar with the one I'm talking about, where he's talking about his hands and removing them, and how he talks about the iron hands developing a mania.
I think I found it.
Okay, let's read that, because when I'm reading this, like I was talking about how Ferrus Manus brought that little bit of humanity, but at the same time, let's not forget, like he still was this cold mechanical warrior first, but Ferrus Manus also had the foresight to not like psychic foresight, but just literal logical foresight to see in the future, like when the war's over, then what? So,
hold on, I lost it. Okay. You said these are not my hands. That one?
Yeah.
All right. They are not my hands. This fact is forgotten by my brothers. Inexplicably, it has always seemed to me. The hands are strong to be sure, and have created great things for us all, but they are not mine. And that counts for something. They forget that the silver on my arms comes from a beast that I vanquished. It is the mark of a great evil that I ended, and yet it persists within me. I would struggle to remove it now. I will not remove the silver from my flesh because I have learned to depend on it. I know that's not the full quote. Hold on. Where is it?
I have shared it on the last 2 episodes, so I think we get the concept. But like he's basically talking about his hands and how he's like, these aren't mine, man. Like any accomplishments, like they're not my accomplishments. And that concept carries through too. Like, okay, you remove your limb and now you can jump higher, but that's not your accomplishment anymore. That's not your humanity doing that anymore.
Yeah, he says, when my father's crusade is over, this shall be my sacred task. When the fighting is done, I shall cure my legion and myself. He's also quoting, I think it's Joey from Friends when he says, this hand is your hand. This hand is my hand.
Direct quote.
No, wait, that's your hand. No, wait, that's my hand.
Perfect. Oh, man. Yeah, what a great quote. So yeah, a very contradictory character, but like deep also. He understands his nature and what he's capable and what he's not. They were neither glorified in war nor mourned its toil. Their march was inevitable, their will absolute. They saw no empire, no salvation, only the unending process of annihilation. Ferrus Manus called it perfection. The galaxy called it fear. They were the Iron Hands. They did not forgive. They did not forget. They endured. And then a quote from Ferrus Manus at the address of his legion before the Great Crusade. You are my sons, and the fires of the forge burn as hot in your hearts as they do in mine. Chain them, master them, and you shall wield them as a deadly weapon. But allow them to rule you, and you shall be lost. And that's another thing I've kind of noticed with his quotes too, are just like he talks a lot about furnaces, obviously, and like forging and like passion and fire. So they're like it is there. Their human nature is there. But the Iron Hands want to get rid of it.
And I think the Emperor obviously can, has like this vision and whatnot of what he can see the legions would become and the possibilities. And I think he kind of sees the Mechanicus and Iron Hands and goes, and he's not directly saying it, but it's almost like don't let this happen to you. Like, don't, these guys are cool. Yep. Mechanicus is great. We got him going. Mars, love it. Okay. But don't get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a fourth category that Imperium doesn't really like to talk about not liking. It's like alien, Xenos, mutant, heretic, and giving your soul up to a robot and cutting off all your limbs to become a machine. Yeah. Another category you don't quite fully want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially as like the Emperor of mankind. Like he is supposed to be humanity, like embodied. So well, let's chat about a little bit about Horus here and the Ascension. So, Ascension of Horus. Ferrus Manus registered no visible response to Horus Lupercal's elevation to War Master, which, as we all know, there was a little bit of like what? Some reaction.
Caught off guard.
Yeah, a little bit. Fleshborn emotion was beneath him. Inefficiency unworthy of expression. Logic dictated acceptance. Horus had been chosen, and thus the Emperor's will had been enacted. The Gorgon and his legion executed their duties with unbroken precision, continuing to operate beside the sons of Horus as extensions of the War Master's design during the final, grinding years of the Great Crusade. Their alliance was a convergence of necessity, not sentiment. Even amid proximity to corruption, the Iron Hands remained unyielding, insulated by discipline and the cold machinery of their purpose. A little more, metal talk there. Ferrus Manus' association with Fulgrim of the Emperor's Children, once defined by mutual respect and the pursuit of perfection, became a fracture point. A warning that even steel can be compromised by weakness. Yet the Iron Hands did not yield to infection. The corruption that claimed so many found no purchase within their mechanisms. It is recorded that Horus and his allies calculated the possibility of Ferrus's fall, believing his loyalty to the bonds of brotherhood might surpass that owed to the Emperor. They misjudged, however. The Iron Hands are not bound by sentiment. They're bound by efficiency, by the logical order of strength. Had Ferrus Manus succumbed, had the Iron Hands' strength been turned against the Imperium, the galaxy itself might have been reforged in a darker image, cold, relentless, and absolute. That's a very fun game to play. Like, if so-and-so fell, what does that do? And not not in the total black and white of like, does Horus completely win? Does the Emperor completely win? But like, where do you see these effects? And I think it's a fun topic that we can maybe get into on a different episode, is like the what ifs of like, if Ferrus Manus fell, where does that affect things down the line?
Yeah, like Horus thought he was going to get him. Like him and Horus went on many crusades together. Him and Fulgrim went on many crusades together. All the Primarchs seemed to have like a good respect for him and stuff. And yeah, they thought they could get him to fall. He wasn't very attached, it doesn't seem like, but he was loyal. Turns out a good routine can really save you from heresy, Shit, shave, crusade
Yeah,
keeps you
there
from
it is.
heresy.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. And it's cool to have. I mean, sometimes character building, it feels like death in storytelling when you have a character that's so one-dimensional and just so, yes, I follow the rules, yes, I do this, like very predictable. But in this case with Ferrus Manus, it's kind of refreshing. Like it feels, especially when you go into like a lot of the Horus Heresy stuff, it's like, oh, we get it. Like, I know like Horus is super, passionate and tries to get people, and they're like, oh, maybe I guess, yeah, you know what, you're right, fuck the emperor, this and that. But to have somebody stand so absolute and be like, no. Like that's pretty cool.
yeah,
That's and very and kind of like just a calm way, because there's obviously like Lehman Russ who's like, fuck that, no.
flips
Like,
tables.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just to have the like quiet, cool kind of this, like you could just kind of hear him say like, this is illogical. No,
Yeah. Yeah,
So.
I see. I think 140 steps ahead of all of you. Like I've laid out the logic of all this, and it doesn't end well. Like no. But the Horus Heresy does happen regardless of that. Horus's ascension to chaos does still happen. I skipped over the death of Ferrus Manus because we did talk about it in the last episode. So we'll kind of jump past Isstvan and Dropsite Massacre. All these legions get massacred. There's a great betrayal. Not only like are they fighting 3 legions, but the backup legions also turn. So we got like 9 legions battling, and it's supposed to be 6-on-3, good guys versus bad guys, but then it flipped sides, and it ended really bad for everyone. Ferrus Manus dies.
Bad party. Yep.
Bad party.
There's just no one's having a good time on Isstvan.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, for a little bit.
6 of the 3 legions are.
Yeah.
Okay, on Isstvan V, those legions were having a good time, but then on Isstvan III, their good counterparts were not having a good time.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we jump past to the next plot, Iron over Flesh. As the truth of Ferrus Manus' death was burned beneath the ash and static of Isstvan V, so too was the certainty of his remains lost to the entropy of war and myth. Records diverge, corrupted by time and emotion, 2 frailties the Iron Hands would learn to despise. Some claim that Fulgrim, the fallen twins of Ferrus, delivered the severed head of the Gorgon to Horus as a trophy. Others maintain that the Dark Mechanicum seized the corpse, dissecting the Primarch's scarred form in pursuit of forbidden replication. A legion of abominations wrought from his divine blueprint. A few whispered that the fragments of his body were reclaimed by his sons, or that fragments still lie dormant, scattered across the void. None of these claims are verifiable. None of them matter. For the 10th, the death of Ferrus Manus was an equation that refused to resolve. They would not accept the termination. They declared instead that the Primarch had endured, that he would return reforged, purified of weakness. It was a belief born not of hope, but denial. In the aftermath of Isstvan, this delusion calcified into fury. The Iron Hands withdrew to Medusa, hollowed by rage and loss. Their emotions burned down to cold iron. They turned their hatred outward and inward alike. No enemy escaped their scorn, Xenos heretic or erstwhile ally. Even the Salamanders and Ravenguard were condemned, judged guilty of cowardice for their retreat. To the Iron Hands, betrayal had not merely come without, but it had come from within. They looked upon their own failure with surgical detachment and found corruption, emotion, indecision, humanity. Ferrus Manus himself was deemed flawed, his fall the result of sentiment overriding logic. Thus began the purification. Across millennia, the Iron Hands disassembled the weakness within themselves, replacing flesh with steel, thought with calculation, heart with circuitry. Anger became discipline, grief became data, faith became function. They would not feel again. They would not fail again. The Gorgon was gone, but his sons would become his ideal, merciless, efficient, and utterly inhuman. Yeah. And isn't this another thing that happened kind of with the Iron Hands that doesn't happen too much with the other legions is like they almost despise to some degree their Primarch. Maybe despise is a strong word, but maybe it's more of a cautionary tale.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it. It's because I don't see any sort of animosity. It's more of a driving force of like the best of us fell, and I don't mean to chaos, but just like the best of us has been slain. We need to do better. Like we have to move forward, and it's like the classic like, no, I'm not going to let you hurt me again. I will never love again. So I'm getting rid of my emotions. Nope. I'm shutting off.
Oh my God.
It's just like, it's the classic, nope, these are my boundaries. And here we go.
Yeah.
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 I mean, and I appreciate like the bastardization of like what Ferrus had originally meant when he said the flesh is weak.
Mm-hmm.
Not because the flesh is garbage, but because he has relied too much on his own necrodermis hands. So, but then for the Legion to take that after he's died into thinking, oh, flesh is weak. Yes. Yeah. Just again, irony.
God damn. Oh man. So then we move to the Shattered Legions. The Legions. Sorry, I think I jumped a spot. Or did I read a spot I shouldn't have? I read.
No, we're on it. Shattered Legions. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Shattered Legions. So this is during the Horus Heresy after the death of Ferrus Manus. Like the Legion's broken. They go back to Medusa. They kind of rebuild. They go on like little Black Shield raiding parties. They do some stuff, but none of it's really important. Like when their Primarch dies, that's their play in the Horus Heresy. Yeah, sure, they might raid a caravan all the way up. It just ultimately doesn't matter. So I do have a good quote though for this little Shattered Legions area. Only when the power of our hate we truly have shed the prison of our own flesh shall we be judged worthy to stand by the side of the returned Primarch. Every foe I slay, every stone I cast down makes my hatred pure, and the day Ferrus Manus is restored to us, a day closer. Iron Father, Clanu Jorar. So yeah, he's just slaying heretics and saying, every one of you I kill. I'm closer to heaven. Good for you, buddy.
Here's that reverence though for their Primarch. It's not we're they're not casting him off by any means.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. I definitely went too hard on the mentality. Cautionary tale even almost comes off a little too strong.
But
a martyr, maybe?
Yeah. No, I think that's spot on.
Yeah. So we jump to the Great Scouring. For 8 standard years, the heresy followed its predetermined trajectory, an equation of decay fulfilled to its inevitable conclusion. The War Master's rebellion consumed the stars, grinding down the Imperium's strength until the final confrontation upon Terra. There, amidst the irradiated dust of the Imperial Palace, the siege reached its terminus. Horus was eradicated, the Emperor, mortally wounded, was entombed within the Golden Throne. A living corpse sustaining a dead empire. The dream of unity was extinguished. Only function remained. What endured of the Imperium was a shattered mechanism, its purpose corrupted yet still capable of operation. The system persisted, though its spirit had perished. In the aftermath, the galaxy became a field of ruin. Planets burned, civilizations collapsed, and the machine of an empire turned upon itself to exercise infection. Forgiveness was deemed inefficient. Vengeance, precise and absolute, became the governing principle. Thus began the Great Scouring, a systematic purge executed with relentless logic across the stars. Traitor legions were hunted without mercy. Their worlds were sterilized, their fleets annihilated, their names erased. The Emperor's servants waged war not for glory, but for correction. Order demanded it. Yet within this vast recalibration, corruption persisted in the data. The Inquisition arose to identify and expunge contamination, but the galaxy's scale rendered perfect control impossible. Betrayal multiplied faster than it could be contained. Each legion, reduced and broken, sought to repair itself in blood. The Dark Angels enacted their own clandestine culling. The Space Wolves hunted in feral vengeance. Even the Ultramarines calculated their own retribution. The 10th Legion, too, acted without hesitation or remorse. The Iron Hands neither mourned nor questioned. They struck with mechanical precision, purging weakness wherever they found it, foe, ally, or self. The galaxy burned anew, and in its furnace, the Iron Hands became what Ferrus Manus had intended them to be. Instruments of purity forged in the crucible of annihilation. Yeah, so they just get right back to it. I like this period, man. I really hope that they expand on it. We've talked about this period now like 10 times, and we learn a little bit more about what each legion is up to. And there's some really cool themes. Like, yeah, you really find the mania happening strong with these guys. And maybe you take 40k Iron Hand mania. It's not quite as much, but in this, it's like, think more like Necron destroyers where they really go hard. Tripod legs as opposed to like taking the humanoid form, But yeah, you can just kind of see them going hard against chaos. It's a fun time.
Yeah, I really enjoy that period because it's like everybody gets unleashed a little bit. Like there's a little bit of just like, all right, fuck it, here we go.
Yeah, like with the Horus Heresy, they're still fighting the exact same people, but like the Horus Heresy, the battle lines were being drawn. Now they're drawn and we know what we're dealing with and everyone's ready. They're all going in for it. So you get it's not that surprise. It's like vengeance, retribution, hatred. Yeah.
Nope. I was going to do a Harry Potter reference here, but it just feels wrong. It feels a little wrong.
Please give it to us. Yeah.
Okay. So
double nerd.
So do you remember, I don't remember which one it is, but Bellatrix Lestrange kills Sirius Black. And so there's like the battle going on. They're like doing all the wand shit and whatnot. And like, it's cool. Like that's the Horus Heresy. Like, yeah, okay. And then you have the fun little moment of like, nice one, James. And he's like, oh, that's my dad. He called me the thing, and like, that's that
fun almost.
Yeah. That's that beautiful moment. And then the fucking Emperor dies. So we get Bellatrix Lestrange killing Sirius Black. And what is Harry Potter? He just fucking runs after her. Like it's the classic like handheld shot. That's like they're just running down the hall and he like does the cool wand thing and it like trips her up and you get this sense of just like, no, fuck you, I'm coming after you and I'm going to take everything. And it's just that little moment. Like in that I was like, this is a badass moment for Harry Potter. Like I was kind of enjoying it before and now in this
he's a badass little 14-year-old.
No, he just kind of is unhinged at that moment and it's pretty cool. Like he is out for revenge, like true revenge. So yeah, anyway,
perfect time to do it for the scouring. So
yeah. Well, let's chat about the tempering then. And if you're keeping up with all the fun lingo and you're making little tally marks about metal or iron puns or any sort of like forge wording things, good on you, because there is a lot here. So the tempering.
It's a good thing we didn't make a drinking game out of this.
Oh man. Bye. Yeah. The 10th Legion did not mourn on Medusa. Grief was inefficiency. Inefficiency was corrected. Isstvan's ruin, Ferrus Manus' death, these were inputs, not tragedies. Pain was processed into purpose, emotion refined into precision. The Legion's fragments reassembled into a weapon colder, sharper, and purer. They would not burn with hatred, they would endure through it. On the Black Plains, the surviving clans convened. From logic and necessity arose the Iron Council. There we go. The creativity is there. What are we going to call it? I don't know. The Iron Council? Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
You know,
To be fair, iron has just such that really cool primal thing to it.
Yeah.
Like,
man.
you know.
We don't have to go with the first name. No, we probably should on this one,
Yeah.
guys.
I'm wondering though, like, are and maybe it's Canadian thing too, but are the British doing like iron? Are they saying iron?
How do I say it? Iron?
I don't know. I think you guys
Iron.
are fine, but
Iron.
like iron. No, I'm just curious. Like, do we have any? We've got Brits in the chat. Is it iron?
Please,
for you
please, only pseudo-Latin for this group of educated gentlemen.
Lupercal TV, I know you're in the chat.
I know.
Please enlighten us.
Loop, get on it. Yeah, I wonder if it's iron for them. So, anyways, let's get back to the Iron Council. So it's many minds functioning as one. Obviously, no single will rule again. So no single like leadership became distributed cognition, error eliminated by design. This reformation, the tempering, defined them. Unity through machinery, purpose through structure. While the Imperium screamed for vengeance, the Iron Hands calculated. For 86 cycles, they dissected every tenet of war, purging emotion from the equation. The verdict was absolute. The flaw was humanity itself. Flesh, faith, and feeling had infected creation. The cure would be annihilation of weakness within foe, ally, and self. They departed beneath a dead sky, fleets ascending in ordered silence. Each target was chosen through capitulation. Wow, I'm having a Lorehammer moment. What the fuck word is that? Computation? Wow, I've never. That just weirded me out. Computation. Nice. Wow, thank you. Each target was chosen through computation. Each campaign a correction. They would not avenge. They would perfect. A little, yeah, I know, a little sketchy. I find it humorous that there's a need for perfection, and who was Ferrus Manus's like best buddy? Fulgrim. Like perfection.
That's some pig iron shit going on there, if you ask me.
All right. Yeah. So in secret, they allied with the Mechanicum. Duh. Like that just seems perfect.
As you do.
Yeah. Both sought divinity in steel, salvation in logic. From their accord came the voice of Mars, binding Medusa and Mars in the creed of the machine. Flesh is error, weakness is death. Ferrus Manus was not mourned. He was system, law, equation. The Legion no longer felt, it functioned, it endured, it became iron or iron. So the Lupercal TV does weigh in on this. So thank you, Loop. I do not know anyone that says it iron. So there, he said it himself. He does not know anybody that says iron.
Okay,
I feel like I've heard it though.
Somebody out there has to say it like that.
I don't know.
I have heard some Irish people, and Rambo, whenever you hear this, maybe you can weigh in on this too. I've heard some Irish people pronounce it oirn.
Oh God, we good.
Oirn.
That's cool.
The iron hands.
Yeah.
Oh, I got the iron hands from jolly old Ireland.
So the Iron Council is kind of interesting. Like it almost sounds like they sync their brains up in more of a, like in a very computer sense, like more of an actual, they are wiring into the same processor and communicating that way as opposed to just like communicating verbally. Like they seem like they're really dialed in there communing.
Yeah. It's funny that they allied with the Mechanicum like secretly, as if no one would ever like think that would happen. You know?
Yeah.
It feels like we watch your buddy like over 6 months taking steroids, and at first he was like 80 pounds, and now he's 200, and you're like, I know you only go to the gym like 3 times a week, but this seems a little excessive. Like,
are you sure you're not eating small children?
What are these syringes?
Sure? What are these? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they just kept it secret just because it's kind of like faux pas for a Legion to join the Mechanicum? You know?
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
Still feels weird to keep it a secret and not like kind of just embrace it, because like at this point you don't have Big E like telling you what to do. Like, it seems a natural partnership. I don't know.
I'm sure it develops and blossoms into something more beautiful as time goes on. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, there is we do have another subject called the Keys of Hell, and for those who are listening, it's HEL hell, not the other place.
Single hockey stick, not double.
Single hockey stick.
Or if you've watched Marvel's Thor, Hela. The Iron Hand's fixation upon strength and their hatred for weakness in all its forms evolved into a creed of absolute mechanization. To them, the machine was not a tool, it was the next stage of being. Flesh, mutable and fallible, was an obsolete substrate awaiting replacement. I'm getting all these chemistry terms, and it's like giving me like PTSD from like when I took organic chemistry in college. But anyways, the Legion came to believe that the machine did not serve man. It would succeed him. In the Iron Hand's eyes, their Emperor-forged bodies were merely transitional vessels, crude prototypes of the perfect war engine to come. Blood, sinew, and nerve were nothing more than primitive conductors of the Emperor's design. Materials to be refined, components to be replaced. Their flesh was not sacred. It was a flaw to be corrected. I mean, it's not like they had like a 5,000-year long war against AI and Men of Iron and all that stuff, but what do I know?
Nah, they don't need it. Nah, they don't need to know that.
The philosophy burned through every legionary of the 10th as both faith and function. To be strong as iron was not an aspiration, but an imperative, a biological equation to be solved through augmentation. Wounds that would sideline others were converted into opportunity. Rather than awaiting regeneration or tissue graft, the Iron Hands replaced damaged flesh with superior machinery. Steel was faster, stronger, and obedient. Recovery became irrelevant. Pain became a data point. Within the Legion, every scar was rewritten in metal, every weakness reforged into precision. Over time, few among them retained bodies that could still be called human. The eldest veterans were almost entirely mechanical, their mortal remnants mere shreds encased in armor, thought patterns interfaced with circuitry. For these warriors, the greatest honor was internment within the dreadnought shell, an eternal existence of unending war, their humanity buried beneath adamantium and machine code. I find this to be a very funny counter to the White Scars Legion, because if I remember correct, when we did those episodes, the White Scars did not field that many dreadnoughts because they thought that like it entombed their spirit. So White Scar Hell is basically Iron Hands Heaven.
Yeah, exactly.
Another one man's trash, baby. Another man's trash.
To be fair, dreadnoughts are so fucking cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking sign me up. My back hurts. Sign me up.
Just put me in. Put me in.
Someone had made a point a while back when I was doing some reading, and someone had said the thing is when you replace your biological parts with machinery, yeah, there is some improvement, but then it's static. Whereas like the human body can improve, and obviously when you have the augmentation that the Space Marines do, there's a chance it could surpass maybe some type of machinery or circuitry. So it's like, are you really perfecting what the Emperor has already done? That was like the question that was posed. So
Yeah, like with machines too, man. You nick one wire and that whole system can be kaput.
Hmm.
Where like, yeah, you nick a part of my arm and I'll be back and good to go. Like it just kind of stitches or my body still operates. Like human bodies are crazy, the regenerative, and then just you topple or you stack on the Astartes physiology, and then yeah, so
So
it
yeah,
might
it's
be
like,
better than steel sometimes.
yeah. So like, are you really improving that much? Like from an already, pretty strong form. So
I
that,
think they're coming
Uh,
at it from a standpoint of absolute, like ones and zeros. Like there's no wiggle room of like
I
we
like
we
that.
see corruption, we see mutation, we see emotion. So these are things that can change and sway and can completely destroy at times. So when they talk about like the absolute, the iron sharpens iron, like there is this wire goes into here and does this. There's no changing that. That's what happens. You plug this in, it does the thing. You press the button, it does the thing. It's absolute. There's no like, well, how did you press the button? How did it make you feel when you pressed the button? No, it's button, fire, gun, boom.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
I like
just
that.
absolute.
Yeah. Is flesh weak? Check yes. Yes.
Yeah, but I absolutely agree with you guys. Like human body and the mind is like insane, like truly insane. But I think their standpoint is that there's too much room for error. There's too much margin for error. There's too much possibility. And again, it's only strengthened after they see um, the corrupting factor of chaos and Horus Heresy, and they've witnessed all this. And like, well, fuck that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, hey, that's a very fair point.
Mm.
And Lupercal made a comment earlier with the Mechanicus and secrecy. I think the secrecy was more to do with the Mechanicum meant to be separated from any Astartes, with them being on the Council of Terra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a very good point.
The Emperor played favorites with his creations, and so can the Mechanicus play favorites with the legions. Okay. We back on track here. Yet, even with this relentless pursuit, Ferrus Manus imposed limits. The Gorgon, though devoted to the union of flesh and steel, forbade the descent into full cybernetic perversion. The lost sciences of the Dark Age, rites of resurrection, and neural replication were declared abominations. The Iron Hands alone among the legions could recognize such forbidden technologies, and under Ferrus's command, they were seized, cataloged, and sealed away from both the Mechanicum and the Imperium. These horrors, known in whispered records as Aegysine protocols, the 8 sleepers, the Sarkozan formulae, were interred under the covenant of the keys of hell. Single hockey stick. Hidden deep within the vaults of Medusa and in airless tombs on nameless moons, they were placed beyond reach. Never destroyed, but entombed, as though even the Primarch feared their power. When Ferrus Manus fell, his restraint died with him. Too many within the Legion had his resistance to total to many within the Legion, his resistance to total mechanization was reinterpreted not as wisdom, but as failure. Flesh, they reasoned, had doomed him. Emotion had broken his logic. The weakness of the organic had allowed the traitors to strike him down. In the silence that followed Isstvan, these conclusions calcified into doctrine. The forbidden vaults were reopened, the keys of hell turned by Iron Fathers who sought salvation in the very sciences their Primarch had denied them. Within the dead worlds of Medusa's orbit, furnaces were rekindled and the cold whispers of the Dark Age were reactivated. So this is going back to what you were saying, Court, about like they noticed this weakness or they noticed these weaknesses, and that's just like further affirming like, nope, flesh is weak. Nope, absolute. Nope.
Yep.
All cybernetics, baby.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
The Iron Hands no longer asked whether such acts were heresy. The concept of heresy itself was irrelevant, a human term born of emotion and fear. To the Iron Hands, there was only inefficiency and correction, imperfection and improvement. In rejecting the flesh, they believed they honored Ferrus Manus, not as he was, but as he should have been, perfect, unyielding, and without weakness. And thus the Legion walked the edge of damnation willingly, certain that through steel, through logic, through the annihilation of all frailty, they would transcend even death itself.
There's a heavy, maybe heavy, like Christ's parallel here. You know, like if we go into it a little bit, talking about, obviously the flesh is weak. We talk about kind of the sin, all that. And then you have a martyr who at one point, was seen as this great being, then becomes like weakened by the flesh. It's the classic, my God, why have you forsaken me? Taking on all that, the human sin and all that. And then that death, they see that and they kind of move into this, we must be higher than ourselves. We must be perfect. It talks about, and thus the Legion walked the edge of damnation willingly, certain that through steel, through logic, through the annihilation of all frailty, they would transcend even death itself, like rising to the level of perfection. It's a little bit, I don't want to say it's super heavy-handed, pun, because it's iron hands, but there's a little bit of that, I think.
A little bit.
Like what Gerald was reading. So, it's a classic story. It's the classic religion. So I think they've kind of put that in here a little bit.
Yeah, and so the ultimate failure of Ferrus Manus was death. So now their goal is to no longer be able to die. Integrate yourself fully into that machine, and now you can kind of do it. Yeah, it's like their form of afterlife to some degree.
Yeah. Good point.
The next little part after this, we're getting slowly more and more body parts are getting lopped off and replaced. In the chat, somebody's having a problem with fittings not fitting in the dark, and somebody recommends the cybernetic eye. So even the chat's getting on board with, let's lop some body parts off, Let's see what kind of cool bionics we can come up with at the end. I want you all to have one cool bionic for me. First, the forging. In the aftermath of the tempering, as logic replaced faith and structure replaced chaos, the decree of the second founding was enacted, a systematic partitioning of the legions, an enforced segmentation of power and identity. The vast engines of war that had once served as the emperor's hammer were now dismantled into smaller, more controllable mechanisms. The 10th Legion, fractured yet unbroken, submitted to this reformation with cold precision. It was not defiance that guided them, nor grief for what was lost, but the recognition of necessity. Division was efficient. Decentralization was survival. Thus, the Iron Hands complied, but without sentiment or ceremony. The surviving clan companies were methodically distributed, their lineage recorded and cataloged in accordance with the Codex Astartes. Each segment of the once Great Legion became a self-contained unit of war, autonomous, self-repairing, self-regulating. The Iron Hands retained the 10 great clan companies of Medusa, the core around which their strength would continue to calcify. Their successor chapters were generated as logical divergentives. Each diverged from the gene seed template of the Primarch Ferrus Manus. His legacy reduced to data, replicated and isolated by the Adeptus Mechanicus with extracting scrutiny. Each strain was indexed, purified, and sealed into separate genetic lines, ensuring redundancy should corruption or mutation arrive. While others mourned the dissolution of their brotherhoods, the Iron Hands perceived refinement. The Legion had not been broken, it had been optimized. Each new chapter was a shard of the original design, stripped of excess and reborn as precision instruments within the greater machine of the Imperium. Their designation as successor chapter was a classification of lineage, not sentiment, a notation of function and origin, nothing more. Later foundings would inherit only the idea, but the second founding carried the purity of the source, the uncorrupted gene logic of the Emperor's creation. For the Iron Hands, its division was not loss, but evolution. The Legion had been tempered in a betrayal and reforged in isolation. Now it was disseminated across the galaxy, its fragments serving the Imperium as countless extensions of the single purpose: to exercise weakness, to enforce order, and to ensure that the strength of iron would endure long after flesh that birthed it had turned to dust. And an ancient proverb from the Medusan clans is, as iron sharpens iron, so truth cuts and war makes right. Nice.
Jeez.
Yeah, these guys were okay with the second founding and the splitting, and I get their thought process. Like, you separate, decentralize. It just it's more efficient to communicate that way. Blah blah blah. Whatever they kind of came up with. They were also super small too at that spot. Like they weren't breaking down like 100,000 strong legion. I know they have numbers maybe at that point, but either way, yeah, it wasn't a lot that they came out with. Happy to do it though. Happy to break down in these other little gene lineages. It's cool that the clans, each one of the clans, kind of got their own. We talk about a lot the Imperial Fists and how like their most zealous became Black Templars and like their most noble remained Imperial Fists and bloody blah. But like, yeah, these have all their clans are just kind of easy separation points.
Yeah, they see it as an opportunity too. Like it's kind of a benefit. Cool. Let's get into their appearance. So I love this. It's all about the style, baby. So the Iron Hands employ a heraldic system forged from unbending logic. If you couldn't tell. So a fusion of the Codex Astartes structure and the clan markings of Medusa, stripped of ornament and mercy. Every symbol is purpose-given form. Each line and shade calculated to reflect unity through discipline, not pride. Their pallid, metallic sigils render them a vision of order without compassion. Yeah, it is very... I'm using this in the proverbial context, but black and white, but it's like black and silver. It is just, there's high contrast here. Since the 10th Legion's inception, their form has not altered. Armor is black as voided iron, left pauldron marked with the chapter sigil, right with the icon of their clan company. So Mark's got some pictures up here for the Imperial Tithe members, as you guys can see. So, yep, it's somehow, like we have Black Templars. These guys are blacker. Like this is it's like Spinal Tap when they're looking at the Black album cover and like, how much more blacker can it get? And it's none more black, none more black. Like that's what they are. They are none more blacker. They're pitch. Yeah. It's awesome. So the left pauldron is marked with the chapter sigil. So you have the Iron Hand, and the right one is their clan company. Pretty rad. So each of the 10 ancient Medusan clans feeds its own distinct warrior brood. Their cultures tempered by the cold forge of their heritage. Designation is precise. Tactical function, battle line, close support, fire support, veteran, or command is etched upon the left knee plate. So on the left knee plate, you're going to see more specifics. Tactical function. So what they are specifically kind of ordered for. An evolution of an older doctrine still honored by some Iron Fathers who retain the Greave markings. So it's kind of a classic twist. Squad numeration is rendered in low Gothic upon the right knee, and rank is conveyed through exact minimal distinctions of helm and plate. So these guys have all of their information right on them. Like it is boom, here you go. Here's my name tag and all the fucking things that go with it.
Would put my blood type on there, but it's just universal. Yeah. Oil. Yeah. WD-40.
I'm a 40 weight man. So as with all things with Iron Hands, clarity serves purpose. So like we said here, like there's no frills, no like crazy grand heraldry. It is purposeful. Nothing more, nothing less. Obviously the colors of the chapter are primarily black with white accents and markings. We get a lot of silver as well. The badge, which actually is really probably just unpainted ceramite, you know, and the badge of the chapter is an iron gauntlet. So you get the iron hand, as it were, symbolic of Ferrus Manus's metal covered hands. If you want a quick army on the table, this is a really good one for you.
Yeah, hit it with black spray paint and dry brush silver.
Yep.
Some parts.
Boom. Yeah, Gerald's got some 30K stuff up.
This is from the Liber Astartes Horus Heresy game book.
Cool.
So, like, you can kind of tell. Hold on. Let me shine some light.
Oh, yeah. Some different.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's just hard to see all that black is all.
I know. Very regimented. Like, you can easily tell who's who compared to other legions in this book.
Yeah.
And then there's like your kinda.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Prime black, paint black, dry brush lead belcher.
Basically.
I will say, if you want to really kind of stick to what we've said and their exact like markings and stuff, get good with decals. Like get good
they got
decals.
some hard symbols. Yeah,
you will need it on both pauldrons, and you'll need it on the knee plates as well. So yeah, if you want to do it that way, but easy, cool, good legion.
I mean,
that tank is fucking rad.
Black on black on black on black.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's models.
Yep.
So there's here. That's the actual GW Ferrus Manus.
Yeah. This is one, I know we're kind of getting to the painting, but this is one where like there's a lot of times you'll see black highlighted with blue, which is a really cool way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Not on this.
No.
No. I do your thing. Hey man, do your thing. But like when you highlight black with that blue, it's a little more Black Templars vibe. You can even like it almost from a distance, if you lay it heavy-handed, can kind of give you a Night Lords vibe. This is one that you really want to go like the cold kind of like gray or lead belcher.
Absolutely.
Very, very simple.
And that's kind of, I know we're getting into the hobby stuff, but that's kind of how I did this Ferrus. Was like I did like a dirty black almost. Yeah, because it's like mechanical and like that's a legit color scheme on the painting app. So
yeah, it's like an oily black almost, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for all you listeners, whenever we cover Trader Legions next, I do have their book too. So
nice. Love a good book. Not to read, just look at the pictures, of course.
Yeah, you need some pictures in this thing, man. Cool.
All right. Up next, we got their beliefs.
Ferrus Manus, the Gorgon and Medusa, was the first of the Primarchs to fall by violent death during the Horus Heresy. Not by Xenos nor Beast, but by the treachery of a once brother, Fulgrim of the Emperor's Children. His termination on the blackened wastes of Isstvan V birthed the Iron Hand's defining creed. That weakness in any form is the source of all failure. In betrayal, they found clarity. In death, purpose. The annihilation at the drop site massacre erased Ferrus Manus's physical form. No body was recovered. No proof of mortality was needed. From that moment, the 10th Legion abandoned grief and embraced precision. Flesh had failed their gene father. They would not repeat his error. They reforged themselves in hatred, translating rage into method, emotion into eradication. Weakness was to be identified, isolated, and destroyed, whether in their enemies or in their own cells. To the Iron Hands, flesh is a defect awaiting correction. Even the transhuman body of an Astartes is impure, subject to entropy, pain, and decay. Thus begins the ritual of reclamation. The initiate's left hand is excised and replaced with bionics, an echo of Ferrus's own transformation upon Medusa, where living metal consumed his hands. Some aspirants sever the limb with their own blade. Others plunge it into volcanic flow until only charred remnants remain. Ow. Ow!
Oh, 40K, so funny, man. It's so
I thought the salamanders had it rough with their initiations. Damn.
yeah. The doctor's like, guys, it's really hard to surgically graft new shit onto charred flesh. Like, we're
Just
gonna
give it
have
the
to
chop.
recut it. And, like, we're gonna have to cut it 3 inches above this charred part, anyways. Like, fucking gangster.
Yeah.
Jeez. Pain is not endured, it is processed, converted into discipline. Are you feeling disciplined now there, Astartes, Jim?
Yeah, barely felt that. I feel very pure now. Thanks.
And what are you doing, young aspirant? I'm building character. Through constant augmentation, the iron hands strip away imperfection. Each replacement, each incision of steel into meat is a step toward absolution. What remains is not a man, but a weapon of pure function. Their surfaces gleam with augmetic steel. Their eyes glow with calibrated light. Where flesh still persists, it is often scarred, punished, or burned. A reminder that weakness endures only so long as it is tolerated. Their disposition is as merciless as their creed. The iron hands neither forgive nor forget. They analyze, adapt, and excise. Their judgments are mechanical and without sentiment, their anger expressed in tone, flat, and absolute. Allies see them as cold and pitiless, and they are correct. The iron hands do not seek camaraderie, only perfection through elimination. I did hear a story one time about one of their successor chapters. I think it was the Steel Confessors, like open fired on an entire Imperial Guard regiment because they failed one objective.
As like a punishment, or like
like a punishment, like they saw it as like inefficient, and so they just fired upon the entire regiment.
Yep, fuck this regiment. They have failed, so let's get rid of them.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh wow. Shit. Okay.
Absolutely. And I forgot to mention this before when we were talking about numbers. So like before the drop site massacre, the Iron Hands had like between 130 to 160,000. So not a bad number. But after that, they got reduced to well below 100,000. So they had it pretty rough. Okay, back to our discussion. In the war, they are relentless systems of destruction. They assess the enemy as an equation and solve it through eradication. Losses are irrelevant. Grief is inefficiency. Hatred becomes algorithm. Vengeance refined to process. Where others see tragedy, the Iron Hands see data. Lessons to be implemented in future executions. Across the millennia, their transformation has rendered them unrecognizable from their origins. Veteran Iron Fathers and clan commanders are more machine than man. Their biological remnants reduced to a brain and vital core sustained within steel. Some exist entombed in dreadnought sarcophagi, eternal engines of vengeance, revered as the apex of the Legion's evolution. I gotta do this for the bit. I am your father.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. Double nerding over.
There you go.
They'll be back. I'll be back.
I'll be back. Okay. Scholars call their fixation corruption, a flaw in the gene seed of Ferrus Manus. The Iron Hands reject such notions. To them, purity is measured not in blood but in function. They are the Emperor's precision made manifest, a legion that has excised failure from its genome. The galaxy remembers them not for compassion, but for the silence that follows their advance. Weakness does not survive the Iron Hands. And we have a quote from one Iron Father Furnace. Wow, really on the nose there.
Oh man.
Oh,
They're
wow.
so creative, man.
Jeez.
What accent should I give this guy?
Nothing. It has to be bland. It can't appease to me in any way.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. The Iron Hands are not survivors, nor should we be.
Why do you sound like a
who cannot
Canadian?
save
He like eliminated any sort of like inflection at all, and then became immediately Canadian. So that's there. That answers the age-old question: what is no accent? Canadian.
Canadian, I guess.
All right, I'm just
I
gonna
don't know
stick
how to
with it
feel
now.
about that. Huh.
No, Gerald, that was great. Please do that again because that was hilarious.
I mean, I could really play up the Canadian accent too there, but I think that might be a little bit too much.
Too much. Dial it back there, bud.
Oh, okay there, buddy. Okay there. All right. The Iron Hands are not saviors, nor should we be. A man who cannot save himself is weak, and the weak do not deserve to be saved. For such a man, only death is fitting. This we can provide. There we go.
I don't know what you said. I was focused on the voice.
I was focusing on the voice too. I'm just like, okay, I know I said words.
Well, I hope somebody out there got something from that quote. Oh, God.
From beloved Father Furnace. Jeez.
Father Furnace. Oh, man.
Okay. We got the Blessing of Iron. I saw something about a Fantasy Flight game and then it just disappeared. I don't know. Data must have been corrupted or something.
That was on this next part.
Okay. The Blessing of Iron is not reward, but ascension. A cold recognition of efficiency and unwavering service to the Imperium's function. Those granted this honor are judged worthy of further purification, their flesh excised and their imperfections reduced through the precision of steel. I'm getting this odd image of, oh, you survived this augmentation. Here's another one as a reward.
Yes.
Recipients undergo extensive augmentation, their organic weakness replaced by the sanctity of machine. The thought becomes calculation, emotion discarded as waste. In the end, they resemble not men, but instruments, unwavering, obedient, and devoid of the corruption that once lingered within the flesh.
Do you think these guys should maybe just start building just robots instead of abducting children and lopping off body parts, then rebuilding them into robots? Or am I overthinking it?
I think that's the obvious answer. What I see is that they kind of view that as like the next step is like humanity, make it better versus like, let's just start over and just do robots because that's the best way. But like taking something that is flawed and making it perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. I am curious though, and this is kind of going a little bit backwards, but what do you, and maybe it's said somewhere, but like, what are their beliefs on the Omnissiah? Like, what are they? I would assume that they view the machine spirit as like bullshit. That they are just so cold that it's like, no, that's not a thing. Or maybe they buy into it because of the whole relationship with the Mechanicus. I don't know.
Yeah, like it definitely goes harder in the 40K episode. The notes I wrote for that question does kind of come up. But in the 30K, that's not fully manifested, really. The Omnissiah, yes, it's there, and yes, they think the Emperor is the Omnissiah. But you give it 10,000 years, and then that really percolates.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Cool.
We'll jump into their gene seed next. The Iron Hands' contempt for flesh is not hatred, but recognition. Flesh fails, metal endures. In each warrior, this truth calcifies into obsession. Flesh is cut away, replaced, refined, until only function remains. Whether born from gene flaw or will, the cause is irrelevant. Corruption lies in imperfection, not origin. The body is discarded piece by piece, logic dictating the pattern of exorcism. The machine does not mourn its making. Even as steel replaces sinew, the mind remains human, its last defect. Many turn upon its own flesh in silent correction, compelled by an inner algorithm of purity. Discipline becomes self-erasure. The mechanicum augments to enhance. The iron hands augment to eliminate. Perfection is insufficient. Only endurance is truth. Each incision, each replacement is denial of weakness. They see their reflection and fine contamination. Centuries grind away what humanity lingers. Flesh is error, steel is certainty. The Legion continues the work their Primarch began. The purification of existence through the death of organic.
See, that I think absolutely supports what you were saying and goes against what I was saying. I think that shows that, like, yeah, robots are the answer. So, like, why continue to, like, make Space Marines the way they do?
So I guess, like, yeah, the very first piece of their programming or their ideology or their thought process or whatever is flawed. So everything after that is flawed, even though individually the logic pieces make sense. It's all based off this flawed idea, which is denial. Like, their Primarch died, they deny that they're not weak. They're doing all this for denial. So, like, after that, the logic, like, it doesn't, this first logical piece doesn't make sense. So,
right,
to make, it kind of compiles then.
I
don't make robots, just, like, make ourselves better. As opposed to maybe if they didn't have Ferrus Manus, maybe they would just jump into making robots. They would skip that human, like, they wouldn't have that trauma yet,
Yeah. Okay.
So Fantasy Flight Games, I always love them. They have some different gene seed defects, so these aren't official, but fuck, they're bang on always. So if you're role-playing in Iron Hands at night in your own free time or whatever you're up to, try these out. Stage 1, a disdain for flesh. The Battle Brother perceives his own flesh as a hindrance. Scarring and punishing the biological portions of his body is the only way to soothe his anger. So yeah, if you get angry, go on, spank your own bum. It's fine. Just give it a whack. Start small. You don't want to start lopping fingers off quite yet.
That's the nighttime role play, like you mentioned, right there.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Stage 2 will approach quickly. Cold fury. A relentless or a ruthlessness of the Iron Hands manifests more strongly in the Battle Brother, making him prone to aggression. The Battle Brother must summon forth all his considerable willpower when confronted by an enemy or by something he considers weak. Failure he's looking in the mirror every morning. Don't you be a bitch. Failure means that the Battle Brother's fury is released in some way, most likely caused by a feud, confrontation, or an escalating into open violence. So they just get madder and madder. And then stage 3, zero tolerance. All Iron Hands abhor weakness. But the Battle Brother has taken this attitude to an extreme. The Battle Brother will seek to remove any perceived source of weakness, to the point of refusing to fight alongside allied forces such as the Astra Militarum, or in extreme cases, even entering into open conflict with allied but mortal force. Yeah, so, like, you mess up on a mission and they are not pleased. They might just end you right then and there. Or, like, you're going into the mission and he's looking around like the Thunderhawk and he sees one guy's leg is, like, tapping up and down. He's like, oh, weakness perceived. I should probably purge that guy before we even go out. Like, that guy ain't gonna make it. Liability. So, yeah, they go hard eventually.
Yeah, that sounds like they're a little bit more trigger happy than some commissars.
Yeah, that is what you said, Gerald. Like before, that's it right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They really become pricks. They just become
like, yeah.
Jeez. Man.
Yep. Like I heard a lot of people say that, like, all these people glorifying Ferrus Manus, they're all it's like, no, dude's a dick. Like,
yeah. All right.
I just want to say, like, this whole stage process that Mark just lined out makes a good premise for like an analog horror instructional video. How to spot when your fellow Iron Hand may shoot you.
Is he getting mad when you show him your unhelmeted head? Does that send him into a blind fury when he sees flesh?
So let's get into the homeworld. So Medusa, the Iron Hand's homeworld, is a realm of perpetual gloom. Oh man, I love that. Hang on, I want to read that again because that sounds amazing. I love that. Because in Arizona, it is sunny as shit. And I like it. So I'm just going to read that again. Medusa, the Iron Hand's homeworld, is a realm of perpetual gloom. God, I love that. That's great.
Oh, yeah. And gloom, not smog, so you can still breathe. It's nice.
Well, it's polluted sky.
Damn it!
Damn it!
Darn it!
I know, it's too good. It's too good to be true. Yeah, its polluted sky churns over a land of raging volcanoes so tall they illuminate the black clouds from within and above. Kind of sounds a bit like Mordor. I still like it. Cool. The people of Medusa are in constant battle with both the elements and each other for access to the planet's limited natural resources. The Medusan inheritance. Medusa is a dead caliber.
Sorry to interrupt
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that Mordor reference had me. I'm just picturing Golem falling into the lava. I'm picturing Iron Hands purging their hands in the lava.
Yeah.
Like just there you go. Yeah. They're having a good time in Mordor, I think, for sure.
Oh yeah. I would say so. Like any Iron Hands going to Mordor is just like
Gonna get me some new bionics soon after this. Having like a hot tub lava bath.
Yeah.
Just
absolutely. Yeah. What else you got left we could lop off? Let's replace it. Medusa is a dead caliber world, larger than Terra, orbiting the supergiant Sthenelus. Yep, that's how we pronounce it. Sthenelus. In the outer void of the Segmentum Obscurus. Its surface is hostile, yeah, no shit, barely sustaining life, and its environment is a crucible of ice, metal, and stone. During the apex of human technological mastery, the Mechanicum classified Medusa as a site of critical industrial extraction. Vast automated mining engines tore core strata from the planet's depths, while sentry constructs protected its resources from all intruders. When the Age of Strife descended, swallowing countless worlds in fire and blood, Medusa remained unforgotten, a repository of machinery, wealth, and legend, preserved through the persistence of steel. The origin of its human inhabitants are indeterminate. Genetic records indicate multiple survivor populations, some traceable to the colonists of the Dark Age of technology, others like the remnants of star-wrecked vessels or Mechanicum sleeper ships dispatched in search of the fabled planet. Confronted by Medusa's lethal surface conditions, fractured terrain, volatile geology, absence of native biota, sounds like a real just fucking charmer. Sounds like a lovely place. These populations devolved into techno-barbaric clans. Survival was enforced by constant mobility. Massive armored land crawlers became mobile fortresses from which raiding parties struck other clans. Mechanical and weapon crafting knowledge survived, corrupted and fragmented, while superstition and savagery dominated. The strongest endured and the weak perished, of course. During the Great Crusade, Medusa was a priority target. Mechanicum reconnaissance, dispatched ahead of the main fleets, emerged from the warp to rediscover the world. The system was littered with the husks of dead ships, silicate dust, fractured planetoids, and the shattered remnants of Telstorax, the colossal orbital mining ring of the Dark Age.
It sounds like they were dragging planets here, or at
Mm,
least big asteroids or like moons or whatever, and harvesting them in this like little orbital mining rig,
yeah.
and then just like leaving the husk, kind of just like kicking it out into the into
Yeah.
the void.
Just a trash area.
Yeah,
Oh man. It's cool though,
cool.
because it's very I don't know. It's got a lot of character. Like it's not your class. Like it does. It has like a lot of
Yeah,
character as
yeah.
far as like the husks of dead ships. That's rad.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
a
It's like
not
when
a
you
cool
see like
looking
a
place.
model painted with all the weathering, a little grit and grime,
Yeah.
really characterful. Cool.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Debris had returned to the planet with catastrophic force. Remaining automated defenses, long abandoned, still function lethally. Ionic storms and drifting mines threatened every vector, yet the warp runner pressed forward. Uh, High in orbit, Auspex sweeps revealed a world in constant tectonic convulsion. The surface was scarred with mine hollows, impact craters, and the ruins of ancient constructions. Residual Vox traffic, garbled and partially comprehensible, echoed across the cold lands. Massive thermic reactors powered immense land machines. The sparse signature of human presence evident but diminished. Life persisted, but only where steel and violence dictated. The fabled riches of Medusa were gone, stripped by centuries of exploitation and anarchy, yet the warp runner's sensors detected a singular anomaly, a signal of paramount significance, a mechanism beyond all other searches. Among the ruin and desolation, the ultimate prize awaited. Medusa still held its greatest treasure, a Primarch. Now, it might be low-hanging fruit here, might have been talked about, but Medusa, obviously Greek mythology, and we call Ferrus Manus the Gorgon. So Gorgons in Greek mythology are the three monstrous sisters. So you have Stheno, which we kind of hint at in naming conventions earlier when I was tripping over that fun word. The Sethenus, it's orbiting the supergiant Sethenus, which is the big planet. So Setheno, Uriel, and Medusa, and those are the three monstrous sisters that are the Gorgons. So when we call Ferrus Manus the Gorgon, it's like in this direct connection to Medusa, hence the planet big fun cycle. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, turning people hands of stone, hands of iron.
Yeah, it's just like again, GW going, where do we like get creativity from? Let's go to
This is
Greek
a
mythology.
fun word.
Yeah, that's a fun word. What does that mean? Cool. Let's call that thing too. So yeah, I mean it's obvious, but it's cool. So
I didn't know about the three names for the different Gorgons. I knew about Medusa, obviously. I didn't know that there was like three of them. So you learn something new every day.
Yeah, I did not either.
The more you know. But what about their chapter fortress monastery? Medusa's volatile tectonics and constant volcanic upheaval make static construction of a fortress monastery impossible. The Iron Hands have therefore engineered massive mobile bases for each clan company. These land behemoths are self-propelling, fully automated war machines capable of traversing the broken surface without pause. I'm thinking of that. What was that one movie where they did that?
It's so funny. Christian said the same thing when we did not the Iron Hands episode, the Ferrus Manus, and we didn't know what it's called either.
What was that movie? Like
cities, roaming cities. Yeah, I'm googling it.
Weirdly, I know it's Christian Rivers is the director because Peter Jackson produced it. I can see it.
Mortal Engines.
Mortal Engines. There we go.
Christian Rivers.
There we go.
Yeah, Christian Rivers. So he worked on. This is how my brain works. Like he worked on Lord of the Rings, and then his first major directorial debut was Mortal Engines. Unfortunately, so But yes, Mortal Engines.
Yeah.
There we go.
I heard that. I've never seen it, but I heard the movie was hot dog water. So
yeah, bummer.
Well, depends. You like teen romantic comedy movies?
Is that what
Set
it
in
was?
Sci-fi? I don't know. That's
Never
what it
really what it
sounds
was.
like.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah. There's gonna be some type of love triangle in that movie. I guarantee it. I don't even have to watch it to know. Although now I'm gonna get flooded with messages saying you don't know shit about Mortal Engines.
no one does because I don't think anybody saw it. Unfortunately,
Don't care.
Hey, I admit I didn't see it, and I'm probably not going to. So.
now I want to see it.
Now I want to put it into AI generator like Sora, but just say, now do Iron Hands and just see what we can get it to come up
There you
with.
go.
Well, it sounds like they did because you get land behemoths.
There we go. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
these land behemoths are self-propelling, fully automated war machines capable of traversing the broken surface without pause. This is definitely Mortal Engines. While the complement of warriors engages in campaigns of purging and extermination across the galaxy, the behemoth continues its relentless passage, a monument to efficiency and the Legion's unyielding drive to eliminate weakness.
I love that. Like a machine that's been going for 10,000 years, just driving around the planet. Never stops. Even when like tracks break down, they have like solutions to like change things on the go without stopping, without wasting anything.
Yeah, these guys must love Land Raiders.
Oh, yeah, they do. Oh, yeah. So the other notable place on Medusa is the Gorgon's Forge. Even within the island's arrival, Medusa remains sparsely occupied, its human population continuing to cling to nomadic existence aboard massive armored crawlers. The chapter maintains a number of fortified installations across the planet, serving both function and doctrine. Chief among these is the Gorgon's Forge, a sprawling industrial complex near the southern pole. Staffed by Adeptus Mechanicus tech priests and rumored to contain fragments of STC data, it operates without pause, its furnaces and forges hammering ceaselessly. Damaged vehicles are returned here for restoration. Dreadnought sarcophagi lie in patient readiness between wars. Here, too, the Legion's weapons are raw, instruments of war perfected by the Iron Hands, most efficient and lethal warriors. Yeah, cool. Every planet needs a cool forge. It's cool that they might have an STC there that really kind of helps them pump out stuff. I don't know if you see that really necessarily in the minis, and maybe the STCs that they have are just like, oh, these bolter shells fire slightly better. You know, that's kind of just small upgrades as opposed to like some big device.
Yeah,
but
cool.
Could just be a factorum too.
I like how like new technology or actual technological progression is heresy, but like how many people have actually tried to get away with it's just an STC, man. Chill out.
Come on, it's just something from 100,000 years ago. Get over it, bud. Just come on. Plug it in.
Well, let's see if we get some answers on the recruitment process, like you were talking about, Mark. Like, why not just make robots? So let's get into the recruitment. Each clan company of the Iron Hands is tasked with its own recruitment, drawing new warriors exclusively from the nomadic clans of Medusa. Only those who demonstrate exceptional physical resilience and mental fortitude are considered, and any vestige of weakness is ruthlessly excised. Recruits who survive the initial selection are sent to Clan Dorvok and subjected to a decade of relentless training and the desolate proving grounds of Uranus. I really wanted to say, ooh, Uranus.
Ooh, anus. Yeah. In the chat.
It's Uranus, but it looks like you said like, ooh, Uranus. Oh, man. Yep. Just a bunch of dudes being idiots. Here we go. Oh, man. Survival through the Crucible is rare, and candidates are treated as expendable tools. Infighting among aspirants and initiates is not only tolerated, but actively encouraged, with Iron Hand sergeants orchestrating rivalries and watching as recruits destroy one another. Advancements to Battle Brothers offers little reprieve. Even seasoned initiates and are assigned missions that would be deemed suicidal for veterans in other chapters, intended to expose and eliminate weakness. The Iron Hands doctrine of brutal selection ensures only the strongest endure. The chapter is therefore top-heavy, composed predominantly of veterans, with fewer scouts initiates than any other chapters. Yeah, because most of them are fucking dying off. Clan Iron Fathers continually patrol the wastes of Medusa to locate new recruits, while librarians are often drawn from black ships passing near the system, chosen for their capacity to endure both mental and physical rigor. Every induction reinforces the Legion's fundamental principle. Flesh is weak, and only those who embrace the machine may survive. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, so that's crazy. They kind of, I like how they describe that top heavy composed primarily of veterans. Like, yeah, they're all robots. They don't really die. Like, you blow off their limbs, like, you can just kind of rebuild them. They're going to keep surviving and enduring. You have to really kind of completely destroy them to, like, take them out. Otherwise, yeah, they'll just rebuild.
So their like ideal candidate seems to be was it the Black Knight in Monty Python?
Tis but a scratch.
Yeah, like that guy, that dude's Iron Hands for sure.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Wow, you came with your arms already lopped off. You're in.
Yeah.
We got two Iron Hands over here waiting for you.
Yeah.
So you have no arms. I've had worse.
Yeah.
I've had worse.
So combat doctrine, as if these guys weren't brutal enough. And we're going back to that ancient proverb. As iron sharpens iron, so truth cuts and war makes right. So during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy, the Iron Hands were preeminent masters of engines of war, commanding tanks, artillery, and siege engines with the precision of a calibrating machine. The Legion favored close, brutal engagements where firepower and mechanical efficiency could be applied without compromise. This doctrine was epitomized by the tactic known as the head of the Gorgon.
Fuck, I love me some close range artillery when instead of having your cannon lob it like it should, they just point it directly at the building in front of them, 20 feet away. Artillery, fire!
Badass.
Yeah.
Hey, bastards! Knock, knock! I do love me some good tank warfare, though. In this method, the enemy was drawn into combat, fixed in position, and allowed to destroy themselves upon the Legion's disciplined lines, while mechanized reserves encircled to impose a calculated, withering crossfire. The Iron Hands executed this strategy with relentless precision, reducing resistance to ruin. Across decades of campaign, the Legion advanced at the vanguard of the Great Crusade, achieving countless victories often judged as callous, uncompromising, and as devoid of sentiment as the machinery that delivered them. I am getting the sense that this Legion is basically the loyalist answer to the Iron Warriors, because I'm getting a lot of similarities between that mechanized warfare, siege weaponry, machinery, cold calculated precision, that sort of stuff.
Wait. Iron Hands. Iron War. Holy shit.
It makes
math.
Jordan kept on calling them the Iron Fists, and I didn't have the heart to correct him. You know, I'm like, I know you don't care enough. You don't go to bed sleeping about this. It's cute.
I'll be honest, I get these two legions like totally mixed up all the time.
There's a lot of Iron and Hand references between the legions, so I don't blame Jordan one bit.
Yeah.
All right, we'll jump to the organization. At the outset of the Horus Heresy, the Iron Hands Legion maintained an operational strength exceeding 113,000 Astartes, supported by vast reserves of war gear, supplies, and a diverse fleet of approximately 100 capital ships. While mid-tier in number compared to other legions, their logistical depth and mechanized efficiency rendered them a far greater power than raw manpower alone would suggest. During the Isstvan V atrocity, the primary contingent of the Legion, roughly 2/3 of its warriors and vessels, including the most potent clans, operated under the direct command of Ferrus Manus as the 52nd Expeditionary Fleet. The treachery of Fulgrim and Ferrus Manus' unrestrained wrath caused the Primarch to detach from this force, advancing to Isstvan V with an elite cadre drawn from the Avarium clan. Inverii? Whatever. Nearly all were annihilated alongside their Primarch during the drop site massacre. Elements of the 52nd Expeditionary Fleet following unaware into the death trap of Isstvan system, were destroyed along with tens of thousands of Iron Hands. Only a handful of vessels survived the ambush. Though these losses were catastrophic, more of the Legion endured than other victimized legions, as significant contingents had deployed elsewhere and could not answer the Primarch's urgent summons. Nonetheless, the Legion was shattered both physically and psychologically. In the aftermath, the survivors reformed under the Council of Iron Fathers on Medusa. New Space Marines were produced from the chapter's Gene Seed reserves to rebuild the Legion. Some clans, however, rejected the authority of the Medusan Iron Council, operating independently in a campaign of hatred and vengeance. Rumors persisted of isolated groups experimenting with forbidden and ancient technologies through the Iron Council, though the Iron Council denies such allegations. Other Iron Hands abandoned the Legion entirely, discarding its loyalty and operating as renegades of solitary agents of destruction. Regardless of these fractures, the Medusan faction eventually returned to the wider theater of war, striking at traitor forces with mechanical precision and devastating effect. Yet the Legion remained a shadow of its former strength, fragmented, disciplined, yet haunted, no longer a single united instrument of the Emperor, but a collection of hardened, relentless machines bound by hate and vengeance. I like that little bit with some of the clans, like they don't really recognize the Iron Council in the first place. Like these clans they're highly competitive with one another, even to the point where they might like exchange killing blows with one another. So yeah, to kind of have it like that, that's fun. Like then you break them into the second founding chapters. Like these guys, they didn't want any part of this Iron Council in the first place. They're going to do their own chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Fun little way.
Yeah. Kind of gives it a cool flavor instead of just the strict regiment that we've been seeing before.
Yeah.
It gives you some cool, like fun storytelling narratives too with your own like Iron Hands army.
Yeah, that's one of those nice questions you could ask. Like, where do they fall on this? Like, how do they fall on this little question here?
Yeah, cool. Well, let's get into the specialists. So the Iron Father. Given the atypical nature of the Iron Hands chapter dogma, it is not surprising that they espouse a highly divergent form of beliefs. In addition to the conventional chaplains fielded by most chapters, the Iron Hands maintain a special cadre of officers known as Iron Fathers, or Metal Daddies. These individuals combine the qualities of a chaplain and a tech marine. So you get chaplain, tech marine, boom, Iron Father. To the Iron Hands, the duties of both roles are intricately intertwined. The Iron Fathers oversee the chapter's spiritual health, but they also guide the Battle Brothers in the journey from a being of biological weakness to a warrior raged and iron. It is the Iron Fathers who administer and oversee the neophytes' ascension to full initiates, and who, along with the chapter's apothecaries, conduct the many and escalating cybernetic augmentation surgeries a battle brother undergoes throughout his service. The Iron Fathers are inspirational figures to their charges, shining exemplars of all that the chapter holds dear. They preach unyielding hatred for the foes of the Emperor and promise that one day their lost Primarch will return. So the metal daddies are like, one day, Big Daddy's coming back.
But until then, here's my cold hand.
Yeah. They preach unyielding hatred for the foes of the Emperor and promise that one day their lost Primarch will return to bring the light to the benighted Imperium as he did to the gloomy Medusa. The Iron Father is considered the representative of the chapter of both the Emperor of Mankind and the Adeptus Mechanicus cult Mechanicus. Unlike the chaplains of other chapters, however, the Iron Fathers do not receive a rosarius from the ecclesiarchy because of the perceived heresy of the Iron Hands' belief in the doctrines of the Omnissiah rather than the standard imperial creed. There we go. The Iron Fathers are schooled in the mysteries of the machine cult to a far greater degree than the tech marines of most chapters. Cool. This is answering a lot of my questions. I love it. Like other tech marines, they undergo a portion of their instruction under the supervision of the tech priests of the cult Mechanicus. Yet, while most tech marines maintain a mutually reserved distance from the cult of Mars, the Iron Fathers appear to have a far closer link and are schooled in the most obscure of disciplines. Bionics are commonplace in the Imperium, yet the Iron Fathers are able to reconstruct the bodies of their charges right down to the cellular level, replacing the tiniest of biological functions with far superior mechanical components. It is only by the way of the arts of the Iron Fathers and the skills that they are taught by the Adeptus Mechanicus that the Iron Hands Space Marine may be transformed from a genetically enhanced warrior to something not far from a pure machine, without losing the essence of what it is to be Adeptus Astartes. A fully mechanized Iron Hands battle brother is far more than an automaton controlled by a scrap of gray matter. He is an unstoppable machine of war fueled by faith and hatred, and utterly convinced in the purity of the dogma that the flesh is weak and the iron is strong. Man, that is really fucking cool, and I love that. So that answers a lot with the ties to the Mechanicus cult, the ties to the Omnissiah. Like, they are way more closely linked, and I really like that we keep seeing this thing that they're fueled by faith and hatred. So when we talk about faith and hatred, you really get the sense of like Black Templars, you get the sense of Adeptus Sororitas, but for them, it's a little different. It's way less impassioned. It is cold hatred of yes and no, friend or foe. Yeah. And that is your poetry of the day.
Yeah, and maybe that's why they don't do the machines, man. You just can't teach a machine to properly hate something or have faith, you know?
Yes. Yeah, interesting.
I like it.
Yep.
A couple more specialty squads.
We have the Gorgon Terminator Squad. One of a number of tactical dreadnought armor subclasses found within the ranks of the Iron Hands Legion, Gorgon pattern Terminator armor was one of a number of ongoing attempts by Ferrus Manus and his cadre of Iron Fathers to refine and augment the various patterns of Terminator armor employed by the Legiones Astartes forces. One of the most extreme technological examples of the Iron Hands innovation to improve on the designs in this regard was the hazardous but powerful Gorgon prototype, a variant of Indomitus pattern Terminator armor which required bonding to its wearer as well as extensive cybernetic replacement. However, volunteers for this painful modification were plentiful in the Legion's ranks, many deeming it an honor to serve as the part of this great endeavor. These elite veterans were then placed in special Gorgon Terminator squads made up of 4 Gorgon Terminators and led by 1 Gorgon Hammer Bearer, also known as a squad leader. Ferrus Manus would not live long enough to refine the Gorgon pattern to its full potential due to his untimely death at the hands of the treacherous Fulgrim during the drop site massacre on Isstvan V.
Cool. Yeah, that's some cool armor. You can buy some minis of these guys. They're pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then we have the Murlocs. The Murlocs were the veteran Space Marine battle brothers of the Iron Hand Legion who served as the Primarch Ferrus Manus' personal honor guard. These elite veterans of the Iron Hand's first company were so named for their fearsome visage they presented. So like the vengeful predators of the same name that howled across the frozen tundras of their Legion homeworld, I'm just picturing Murlocs though, like
What is that?
from World of Warcraft. They got these little like fish people.
No idea.
Yeah, well,
Well,
you'll Google the sound of it and you'll be like, those are running around Medusa? That don't seem right.
So a Morlock is from H.G. Wells in his 1895 novel, The Time Machine. So
that's what I was thinking of.
There you go.
You know, you guys being able to actually read it as Morlocks and not Murlocs probably helps the situation. But, you know, whatever. Fuck it. What are words, eh? The Murlocs were the deadliest and most experienced warriors of the 10th Legion, and whatever force was arrayed against the black-colored Terminators could not hope to survive their wrath. The Morlocks were the bloody tip of the spear that drove hard into the vitals of the 10th Legion's foes. Many of the Morlocks were composed of the First Order, Order Primi, of the Anvaria clan. Many of these warriors had been slain at the hand of the Primarch Fulgrim and his Phoenix Guard aboard Ferrus Manus' flagship before the full extent of the Horus' rebellion had revealed itself. Many more fought in the drop site massacre on Isstvan V at the side of Ferrus Manus, determined to avenge the deaths of their brother. Their fate instead was to fall beside their master, loyal and resolute to the end. It is unknown whether the Morlocks were reconstituted by the Second Founding Iron Hands chapter after the events of the Horus Heresy. Probably not.
I like how this thing specified these black-colored Terminators, but as we've previously discussed, it's like the entire Legion is black on black on black on black on black on black.
No, but even all the bionics are like, let's spray paint those this time. Let's strip them in black. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Medusan Immortal Squad. This is cool. So, comprised of those Iron Hand legionaries who had failed their father's rigid standards and bleak code in battle, whether tasting defeat by the fickle whims of fate or whether they had been laid low by a wound too terrible to bear, the Medusan and Immortals squads were the forlorn hope, a final chance at glory and redemption where the battle was at its fiercest and the risk of survival, even for an Astartes, was at its dimmest. Armed and armored principally as Legion breacher assault units and featuring a high level of cybernetic rebuild among them, the Immortals bore no symbols of their clan or legion, save its numeration and the black on white death's head symbol, which proclaimed their mortal intent. Kind of a what? Oh my! I'm having a brain fart after the whole Murlocs thing. The Blood Angels, Death. No, not what is it? Death Company, right?
Yeah,
A little bit.
yeah.
Kind of a Death Company vibe of like strip them of their stuff. This is their last chance to just fight and probably die.
Yeah,
and they're breachers, so they're going in first.
Yeah. Final chance at glory and redemption. Yeah, okay, I can see that, kind of like the Black Company. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean these guys are going to die. They're breachers. They've got a shield basically out of like Let's see how far they can get. Pretty fun, man. This would be cool to do an army of these guys. Like just do the majority of your force as these.
Just shield walls going in with bolters. Yeah. Fucking
That's
all
cool.
right.
Yeah.
Artillery in the background, just firing overhead.
Yep.
Cool. Speaking of artillery, let's talk about some war gear, because I think we're almost at the end, guys. So come on, war gear. Here we go.
Woo!
During the Great Crusade, the Iron Hands maintained a meticulously organized arsenal designed for maximum lethality and efficiency. Power armor was uniformly black, reinforced with ceramite and ceramite-infused plating, each suit calibrated to the physiology of its wearer. Their bolters, plasma weapons, and flamers were produced in the Gorgon's forge and refined to exacting standards, each weapon system integrated with auxiliary targeting augmetics. Armored vehicles, including Land Raiders, Rhinos, and Devastator tanks, were maintained in peak condition, with onboard systems linked to Legion-wide tactical networks. Augmetic systems with dreadnoughts and mechanized infantry were regularly upgraded, reflecting the Legion's obsession with precision, durability, and the elimination of organic weakness. Every weapon, every vehicle, every piece of equipment was subjected to rigorous inspection and augmentation, creating a coherent, nearly flawless war machine capable of executing the Iron Hands' doctrine of brutal, close-range engagements with unerring effectiveness. By the time of the Horus Heresy, the Iron Hands' arsenal bore the scars of the Dropsite Massacre. Isstvan V had annihilated a majority of their ships, heavy armor, and veteran clans, leaving the Legion a shadow of its former mechanical might. Power armor and weapons were preserved wherever possible, but many systems had to be cannibalized or rebuilt from scrap. Vehicles were few in number and poorly distributed, and the remaining dreadnoughts and mechanized infantry carried the weight of countless fallen comrades. Even bolters and plasma systems were deployed in skeletal numbers, pressed into service by neophytes hastily inducted to replace the dead. The Legion's obsession with mechanization and perfection persisted, but it was now tempered by pragmatism. Every weapon salvaged, every suit repaired, every augmetic interface maintained with ruthless efficiency to keep the surviving Iron Hands operational. The Legion's doctrine of precision and brutality remained, but the force of executing it was fractured, reduced, and painfully aware of its vulnerability, forcing the Iron Hands to rely as much on cunning, timing, and the cold logic of survival as an overwhelming firepower.
Yeah.
Amen.
Nice.
Cool.
So they have a bunch of cool gear, and then they just keep making it cooler. You ever have that friend who just works on his cars, and every time you go there, he has like a new modification to it? You know, it's like you bought your car for $4,000 and you put 10 grand into your car. What are you doing? But that's the Iron Hands method right now. They're just like, I like it. I'm gonna upgrade it. I'm gonna keep it working till the universe burns cold.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this: what's the coolest thing you think like speaks to you about the Iron Hands? Like, what's the thing you're like, I like that a lot?
Can the Primarch be included in this, or does it have to be specifically?
No.
I think for me, it's the mythos. I love the mythos of him drowning the great silver dragon. It's one of those stories where it's just so iconic. Whether you're new to 40K or you've been around for a long time, you just get the vibe of it, and it's impactful.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, super unique. What about you, Gerald?
I kind of piggyback off of that. Not necessarily the Primarch, but kind of what happens to the Legion after Ferrus Manus dies, and how they degrade and completely bastardize like his actual thoughts and beliefs on the whole cybernetic stuff and everything. And then they just say, okay, bet, crank it up to 11 with it, as 40K does.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure. They definitely they definitely do not fulfill what. Like, if the Primarch came back somehow and seen his Legion, he would be like, "What the heck?"
Yeah.
I don't think he'd be too pleased.
I mean, I think so far, like between Gilliman and now the Lion that have come back and they've seen what has happened to the Imperium, I think if any Primarch comes back, they're all going to be.
Yeah, a little.
Most of them are probably going to feel the same way.
That's an interesting thing because as a Space Wolf fan, I kind of feel like if Lehman Russ comes back, he's like, "What I miss?" You know, like I don't know.
Chaos.
I could see that.
I think
I
he's
could see
maybe
that.
like more okay with what's happening with his Legion at least. But these are fun questions.
Still like wolves, nice.
Yeah, a little much, a little too much. Let's back it off a bit. All right, good. That's a fun question too. Like I think we could do an episode of the what ifs kind of thing that we talked about. Like if so and so went the other way in the heresy, what would happen? But this too, like if this Primarch came back, what would they think? So
yeah. What is your favorite part of the Iron Hands?
I really like the close connection with the Mechanicus. I'm not a super fan of like the replacing the bionic thing, but I love the secrecy that they do definitely ally with the Mechanicus. Yeah. I love the Mechanicus. I think it's cool. I would love to do like an army, but I don't like how they look, and it's a whole thing. I don't like the way the Skitarii are. I think it's dumb, but I like the secrecy of like working closely with the Mechanicus. I think that's badass.
Yeah. We definitely get a little bit more into that in the next episode as time progresses and more battles and alliances are made and stuff.
Sweet.
What's the rule on like allied units or something as far as the tabletop game is concerned? Like I feel like if you could field any allied units, Iron Hands and Admech would be perfect.
Yeah.
So there's a couple different variations based on which one. Like I think again with Space Wolves, I think it's something like your army cannot have, if you want your fun like Legion abilities, your army cannot have allies. And yeah, so Grim brings it up, like it depends on the edition, but I think in the current edition we're now in, there's like a 10% rule. Let me see.
While you're doing that, I'm going to get the Horus Heresy allied thing too.
So there's no more generic allied rules. Imperial agents is just a mess, and I know that one is dumb. Yeah, it's been like a year. No, it's been like a few months since I've really played much, and I don't run allies. Yeah, so I know that more specifically, usually like if you ally with anything that's not your Legion, if you're doing Space Marines, like if it's not Astartes, like you don't get your Legion rules, you don't get your army rules. 50%, I don't know if that's that seems heavy. I forget, Grim might be right though, but I just don't run allies.
Knights are the only ally you need. Yeah, exactly.
Purge is not wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as the first edition of Horus Heresy, I know we got that controversial Saturnine edition coming up, but looking at this lovely chart right here that shows like which legions you can put together. I'm looking at Iron Hand, so it's divided into sworn brothers. So like these are like best of friends, then followed by fellow warriors, distrusted allies, and by the emperor's or war master's command. And I'll just do this by legion order: Iron Hands and Dark Angels, fellow warriors, sworn brothers with emperor's children. Okay. Iron Warriors, White Scars, fellow brothers, distrusted allies with the Space Wolves. that kind of tracks.
That absolutely tracks.
Imperial Fist, Night Lords, Blood Angels, also fellow warriors. World Eaters, fellow warriors. Swarm Brothers with the Ultramarines, of all people. Death Guard and Thousand Sons, fellow warriors. Sons of Horus and Word Bearers, distrusted allies. Salamanders and Raven Guard are fellow warriors. And then Alpha Legion is distrusted allies. And of course, Swarm Brothers to any Mechanicum armies. Or to Mechanicum.
Yep. Cool.
So yeah.
Mark, you're muted.
You're muted, Mark.
Well, you can make war, you can make love, is all I said. You can do both to anyone, so it's nice that way. Yeah, the Iron Hands, they got some stuff going for them. They definitely got some things. I think a couple of things that I don't like are just they can't be avoided. Like they killed the Primarch off like 30 years ago before any real established lore happened, and there's no way to really recover from doing that. And they did the best they can, and they try to make them interesting in some ways, or do the old reverse or expectations on some writing or whatever. But ultimately, I feel like, oh man, there's not that much there to them.
Yeah.
And like the cool things, like you said, with like the Mechanicus, like it's still hush hush usually. Like that's what we should be investigating more time into, and like get some secrets, get some like weird hybrid units. Wouldn't it be wild to see like an Iron Hand that has gone like full robotic and is not humanoid in shape necessarily anymore? You know, we could see some cool stuff that we don't necessarily get to.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, that's the end of the 30K Legion era. We got one more Iron Hands episode coming up. Them in 40K, and they get even more hardened and even more adamant and even more irony. So come join us for that episode. It should be a good time. Also, come join me for Lorehammer Listen Lore. People are submitting lore, and eventually I will read some eventually. I think I'm going to do one tomorrow. Somebody reached out and they really want to, so... promises have been made. Let's see if they will be fulfilled.
Cool. I just kind of poking into what I'm working on. I am writing my own Morkborg supplement. I got super jazzed on what we did, and I had a few like ideas, and so I'm officially writing my own Morkborg supplement, and entries are closed right now for Morkborg to actually take new supplements, but they have like a third-party license that you can do and just give it out for free basically, and it says compatible with Morkborg. Cool. I might wait on it, but I'm going to like finish this out. I just started last week, but I'm gonna like officially submit it to Morkborg as like a supplement. So I'll keep you guys posted, but just want to let you know it's happening, and it's like basically because of what we've done here on board.
Yes, I love it. So do you have like a theme in general that
I do? I'm not going to say it yet. Not until it's really, because I think it's one of those, like, I was like, how has no one done this?
Okay.
And I like looked on the internet, like, is anybody doing this? Anybody doing this? No. Okay. All right. So,
okay, cool. Cool.
All right.
Well, I love it. Like any type of hobby, man, it's always fun. Always fun ways to try to just be creative.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And funny you mentioned writing an RPG, because when you're done listening to 40K, let's come on over to the Grimlore podcast so you can listen to us talk about its fantasy cousin, Warhammer Fantasy. And this coming up weekend, I'm going to be leading an episode on a different Grim and Dark setting, and I have officially invited Mark to join in on that episode. There might be a little bit of light RPGing happening as well.
Yeah, I know a little bit about what it's about, and I'm always excited to role play, and I'm always excited to learn about new fantasy settings. See if I can take any wisdom into the real world from it. So
sweet.
Usually you can't, but You could try nonetheless. You can have a little fun with it. Yeah, we have a good time this Friday. Do you live stream ever there on Grimlore?
We used to, and then a couple of the commenters got a little rowdy, so I was like, we're gonna go back to just recording.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, not everywhere is like Lorehammer. We're just a bunch of middle-aged guys trying to play with our minis. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, on that note, since we're all middle-aged guys, let's all go off to bed because we probably all have work in the morning. So
I'm gonna go walk and eat dinner. I need to. I need to get up and move, and I need to eat food. So there we go.
Nice. All right. Well, adios, and we'll see you all in the next episode.